Hey, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles gearing up for a huge matchup against the Cowboys this week. It's a great week in the NFL. Hurts has owned the NFC East in the last 2 seasons. His 74 total QBR, the best of any quarterback in divisional play, and he ranks in the top 4 in touchdown to interception ratio and yards per attempt. Patrick Mahomes, the only quarterback with a better record against his own division. Here's Nick Sirianni and Hurts on improvement this season.
We feel like he's been going to the right place with the football, making accurate throws, big-time throws in clutch moments. He has a very unique way of just trying to get better every single day. He really lives that out.
Time has changed, but mentality hasn't. And so the more you experience, you'd hope the better you work, the better you grow, or the further you go with the work that you put in. Numbers and all of that based off of our success or whatever it is, it's just about winning.
Jalen, laser focused. Marcus, as the Eagles offense keeps getting better, how can the Cowboys defense slow them down on Sunday?
I think you got to go in, when you play Philly, you got to decide what we're going to try to take away from them and make them beat you and try to turn them into one-dimensional. This has been the Cowboys' defense Achilles heel this year. In their 2 losses, they've given up an average of 196 rushing, y'all. Yeah, that's right, 196. So when you think about Philly and who hasn't been running the ball at the rate that they were able to last year, but I'm sure they are looking at these same stats that we looking at and understanding that this is the way you take care of the Dallas defense and keep them out of what they love to do in favorable situations on 3rd and long and trying to create things with Dan Quinn and Michael Parsons working either in the center of the line of scrimmage or from the outside. So I think this is a big deal for Dallas. As much as they've had success throwing the ball in Philly, you got to take this run game away and put it in the pass rushers' hands if you Dallas defense.
Yeah, and it's a different offense than they've had to stop in Philly ever since Jalen became the starter because they haven't done the quarterback run in Philadelphia just as much. So it's way more of an RPO-centric offense to get the ball out of his hands a little quicker and some of that run game. This is their 2x2 RPO where he's reading that boundary safety. Imagine this is a Cowboys drop-down safety. Am I going to pull it or not? And he does, and he replaces with A.J. Brown. That's easy for them in their offense. Another 2x2 set where he's reading that edge defender. If he collapses, he's going to pull it, and then he's got little just flat routes or spot routes. Marcus, this is like their quick game, Hawk, and you know this. We've seen this against Dallas. Now, the reason why I think they got to try and stop it is they want to try to get Micah in these one-on-one situations. Last week it was against the Rams center. They were trying to line him up over there. I do not expect that to be the case in Philadelphia because of Jason Kelce, and they want to play their man coverage on the back end. When they do that and they get Micah in those one-on-ones and they're playing that tight man coverage, they get all those defensive line games going. It's hard on the offensive line. It's hard on the quarterback. It's hard on the receivers to separate. So it's going to me come down to, in many ways, like how Dallas prepares to stop this RPO game. Is it going to, and the thing is for me, Marcus, is it's a different RPO game this year as well. And guys, last year it was mainly zone. It was mainly 2x2. This year it's gap. They're pulling tackles with it. They're doing it out of 3x1 formation. So I think that's going to be interesting how Dan Quinn decides to defend that, because if he can, then it'll be where Micah lines up on his pass rush situations.
Yeah, the other thing I want Dan Quinn to do is I want him to take away A.J. Brown. I know that sounds
good luck.
Way easier said than done, for sure, because one-on-one, you can't stop him. But he needs to be a focal point for the defense for a lot of reasons, because he is a security blanket for Jalen Hurts. 8 targets last week, 8 catches. He's on this incredible tear of 125-yard game. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys defense, I am making somebody else beat us. Make Goddard beat you. Make Devontae Smith beat you, who did have a good game last week. But A.J. Brown is the kind of player that one-on-one, you cannot stop him. And I was talking about this with the producers in the pre-show. When you line him up against the other top receivers in the league, Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Michael Evans, Devontae Adams, like the reason why he is so special is because all those players have a thing that maybe aren't the most beneficial attribute. Tyreek Hill's not the biggest. Justin Jefferson isn't, this big physical prime receiver. A.J. Brown is all of those things. He is fast. He is quick.
He doesn't have a physical flaw.
There's nothing about his game that you're like, oh, he doesn't do this thing great. So one-on-one is almost impossible. Take a chance, put 2 guys on him, center them in your game plan, and make somebody else win the football game for the Eagles.